Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hybrid Network. It's a little late, I know, but we're here today to talk about some of the details that came out about the Wolverine 3, otherwise known as Logan. This is all coming from the Wrap and the man himself, El Mayimbe, so without further ado, let's jump in. So first and foremost, the article claims that the movie takes place in the year 2024. It's also described that the film is very dark, and it seems to be darker than any other Wolverine or X-Men movie. This might be mostly due to the R rating, meaning that this movie is going to be doing a lot more graphic material and just stuff that normally you couldn't get away with in an X-Men or previous Wolverine movie. Old Man Logan is in full effect, the article describes, saying that Logan looks bad, he drinks a lot, he's sick, his powers are fading, and he heals a lot slower than before, sometimes not at all. The movie seems to really be trying to capture Logan at his more lower point, really kind of hitting on the fact that he's hit hard times. From what we could see in that poster that was actually revealed today, we got a look that it's Logan's clawed hand grasp the hand of a little child. There's not much that are told at this point, but from what we can tell, the article of the Wrap describes that the girl has 2 claws instead of 3, so this seemingly confirms that this is X-23 that we're dealing with. That's probably who that little girl was in those set photos. Actually, you know what? There's no probably about it. That is X-23 more than likely. The article goes on to further describe that in 2024, mutant births are severely in decline and people aren't sure why. We're going to find out about a government type operation called Transigen that is turning mutant children into killing machines. So what we can kind of gather from this is that Transigen is the corporation that Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, is probably going to be running, clearly because, well, it's highly rumored that he's a member. He has something to do with this movie, not only just in rumors, but he was teased at the end of X-Men Apocalypse, so more than likely this is something to do with Mr. Sinister. The article also describes that Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, is old and not well. Well, you know, older and more not well than he was previously. His powers are unstable, and at times he doesn't even remember who Logan is, so he's really getting on older than years if you can't even remember who Logan is at this point. Also interesting to note is that Stephen Merchant is playing Caliban, and apparently he helps Logan take care of Professor X. What's interesting about this though is that Caliban was in X-Men Apocalypse, but he was played by a different actor, so this could be them trying to establish some sort of new connectivity with their Marvel properties. We know for a while that I think Fox is trying to make this new status of making their movies a little bit more like a coherent universe to compete with Marvel Studios and other companies. This kind of makes it interesting because either this version of Caliban is just an entirely different Caliban and the continuity is just screwed up even more, or this is an older version of the character that was in X-Men Apocalypse. I guess time is gonna tell, but it just seems like a weird thing to just include in this article because it just kind of raises more questions than answers about the whole X-Men timeline. So that's all the details we have now about Logan. This is actually some pretty interesting stuff. They're clearly going for the more mature vibe that Old Man Logan gave off in when Mark Millar wrote that book, although the actual plot doesn't really seem to be that based on that story. It seems more like it's just trying to capture the idea of an older Logan kind of dealing with a world that he's given up on, and from what I can guess, this is probably going to be Logan's attempt at trying to preserve the innocence of a little girl with powers very much like him, trying to make sure she doesn't end up like he does. And it's more than likely that this is again, it's not more than likely, it is X-23 from what they describe. She has 2 claws based on the article. But what do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comments down below. I'm DC Luke, and we'll be back next time for more hybrid news as it comes out. Peace!